Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my weekly review of Game of Thrones on HBO. This week we've seen Season 6, Episode 5, which is called The Door. And I'm never gonna make fun of us saying Hodor again, that's for sure. This episode is just really good overall. Had a lot of really good moments to it, and of course I didn't expect things to get that intense at the end. And we definitely got a pretty huge character moment. And I'm really enjoying Season 6 so far. And also I apologize for the lateness of this review, but you guys know how it goes. I got home later from work, and honestly I was just frustrated at work that day. I won't go into detail about that, but I wasn't able to watch Game of Thrones that night. I wanted to, sort of just relax. I did watch Penny Dreadful though, but I did just watch the Game of Thrones episode, and it was just great all around. And like I said, been really enjoying Season 6 so far. I personally think it's even better than Season 5 already at this point. I was saying that a couple episodes ago, and this episode definitely continues to prove that to me. Of course, the main thing that we're all taking away from this is, of course, the climactic, intense, emotional ending regarding Hodor, Brann, and the others are hold up there, Three-Eyed Raven. But we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit later in the review. We did have some other good stuff involving Sansa being at Castle Black. We also had some stuff with Arya, which is okay. We actually had some interesting developments with Theon, and his sister as well. Then we had Tyrion again trying to deal with things as Daenerys is away, and we actually had a really touching one between Daenerys herself and Jorah, which I liked a lot as well. So yeah, let's kind of go through it piece by piece. We had Littlefinger and Sansa, sort of reuniting, which was I was pleased with Sansa's reaction to him though, because she doesn't really trust him. I was worried that she was going to sort of accept his help. I thought he was going to sort of manipulate his way to sort of get back on her good side again. But I like Sansa's reaction here. She just talks about, basically makes Littlefinger think of everything that Ramsay did to her because of him putting her there. She asks Littlefinger if he knew what Ramsay was like, and Littlefinger doesn't really respond, but it's obvious he does. And then before Littlefinger leaves, he tells her about one of her uncle's armies, who we've seen last week, or an episode or two ago, I forget which one. But Sansa ends up using that idea to bring to Jon, because they're trying to find all these houses to align with them to go after Winterfell, and there's a handful of them that have already aligned with Winterfell and the Boltons, but there's actually a few smaller ones that together could add up to make it a more even battle. So I did like the idea that was brought up, and again, I think Sansa's reaction to Littlefinger is pretty understandable. But in the end, Littlefinger kind of got what he wanted. He made her think of the uncle thing, and he's sort of he has the kid there in his pocket, as we've seen before. But still like that scene quite a bit. And I also we'll talk a little bit more about that later with Sansa and such. We also had Arya again. She's training and sparring, and it's kind of a reverse, because last week you seen her finally get the best of I forget the girl's name, but the girl she's been training with. Finally seen her get the best of her, but this week we've seen her, get taken down again pretty easily, which is kind of weird. I didn't really get that, unless she's, better without, her sight. Maybe she got a little bit too much into the Daredevil thing, and now she's not used to being able to see again. I don't know. Or maybe the other one wasn't just, wasn't like pushing her as hard as she could, actually. I don't know. But I did like her being sent after this actress who's called Lady Crane. She goes to this play of hers, and it turns out to be a sort of a play on what happened with Ned Stark's execution, and basically a mockery of the Lannisters and such, which I think she actually got a kick out of until she's seen how Ned was portrayed, which is really simple, sort of just so I kind of felt bad for her there, and seeing that whole execution thing replayed, even if it was a little bit funny, it just makes you feel like, you know. Yeah, so that part is okay. Then we also get a little reveal that the Children of the Forest, I think that's what they're called anyway, they're actually the ones responsible for creating the White Walkers initially, because we see, you know, a little flashback of one of them, or, well, not flashback, but, you know, Brann, you know, sort of seeing that in the realities, and with the three-eyed raven, we see one of the children, you know, sort of pushing a, I don't know what the artifact is, but it might be the Dragonite, is that, what's it called? I can't even remember. This is embarrassing. People are going to tear me apart. I shouldn't have said tear me apart after how this episode ends. Let's see. Okay, for some reason I cannot remember the name of the material, but it seemed like it looked like the material that can actually kill and destroy a White Walker. I could be wrong about that. Again, don't shoot me if I get some things wrong. I'm sorry. But you know, that was an interesting reveal about the children, I thought. But you know, they end up all just pretty much being killed at the end of the episode anyway, so it did feel a little bit pointless that we know that connection now. I mean, what does it matter now, really? I don't know. But it was still cool to see. And then we had Theon, you know, he actually supports his sister in ruling, which is a good moment for him. We've seen how he's changed as a person through the obvious trauma he's been through. So I like that a lot. But of course, we see Euron, you know, his uncle Euron, you know, showing up and basically saying how they can't have a woman lead them, and how he knows, you know, how he's been more places than anyone else there combined, and how he knows how to lead the fleet. She doesn't quite as well. And he even admits to killing their father, but you know, he notes that no one really liked him anyway, and he was, you know, basically sending them in a direction that they weren't really going to be able to come back from. But Theon and his sister end up leaving with the best fleet of ships, so he's going to have to build a bunch of ships back now. But he was sort of you know, dipped under the water, and now he's wanting to kill him, but you know, they got away with the ships, like I said. You know, up until now I wasn't really too interested in what was going on there, but I did think this was one of the better moments out of this part of the story. And then we had, again, the touching moment between Jorah and Daenerys. Jorah ends up showing her his grayscale. He says Tyrion was right, he does love her. All he ever wanted to was to serve her. Then he tries to leave and walk away, but Daenerys says she didn't order him to do that. She orders him to, you know, try and find a cure, you know, as best he can, you know, for as long as he can. And if he is able to, then come back to her, because she wants him at her side when she does, you know, sit on the Iron Throne. Which I thought was a really touching moment, really nice sort of emotional action between Emilia Clarke and Ian Glenn, I think his name is. How many things am I not remembering today? But yeah, I may have mispronounced his name, but you guys know who I mean. But yeah, I really did like that moment between the two, and again, I'm glad it's finally come full circle back to Daenerys actually, you know, having a, you know, maybe a love and at least appreciation for Jorah again, so it's good to see. And then Tyrion ends up talking to another priestess of the Lord of Light. We have another red woman. But Varys actually sort of calls her out. You know, Varys is very, doesn't really believe in religion and anything like that. Tyrion probably really doesn't either, but he's trying to play it smart. He's trying to, you know, get as many allies as he can for Daenerys. But Varys sort of mocks her, you know, calls her a fanatic, which I liked a lot. I sort of liked him running her down a little bit. But then she ends up bringing up the trauma from when he was younger, from when he, you know, lost the, you know what. And it was different to see how someone actually shake Varys. You know, it's actually different to see someone actually shake someone like Varys or Littlefinger, you know, because they're such master manipulators and stuff. But I did like that there. Varys also talked about, you know, how Stannis, you know, was proclaimed as this chosen one, basically, and how how he failed at King's Landing. You know, he was defeated by Tyrion. I gave Tyrion credit with doing that. If you guys remember back in season 2, as well, you know, probably the best moment from season 2. But then again, it was interesting to see again Varys sort of get shaken. Even though I do like Varys, it was just a different type of moment for the character. And then we had the Night King actually coming to Brann in the reality. Brann was sort of walking among all the undead, which again is really eerie. But then the Night King is actually able to see him, as are the rest of them, and he touches him and he marks him. And the Three-Eyed Raven says they can actually find him now and he'll be able to get in, which definitely brought up a nervous feeling in you. But I definitely didn't see what was coming by the end of the episode. I'll admit, since I waited a couple days, I did see some spoilers online. Even if I didn't read anything, I seen just pictures of Hodor all over the newsfeed, so I kind of figured something happened to him. So it kind of sucks that it was kind of in a way spoiled for me, but I didn't expect it to be as intense and emotional as it was, and also pretty interesting. But we'll talk about that in a second. I talked about Sansa a little bit, but she also talks to Brienne. Brienne still is not trusting Davos and Melisandre, but she says she does see some trust within Jon Snow, even though he seems a little bit brooding, but it's understandable given the circumstances. But Sansa basically sends her to her uncle, to negotiate, the army aligning with them and such. Brienne does sort of question her if she trusts Jon so much. Why didn't she tell him where she got the information from, which is from Littlefinger, and, Jon wouldn't really appreciate that too much. Let's see. Okay, and then back to what happened with the White Walkers and the Three-Eyed Raven group. Really intense, of course. The Night King and his army do end up finding them, and everyone starts to panic. They're trying to wake Brann up, and they basically end up invading. Children of the Forest, use their magical abilities, to create this ring of fire that the regular undead can't pass through, and they can obviously be killed by the things they throw at them and such. But the White Walkers and the Night's King just walk right through it, which is again sort of cool, but really sort of unnerving to see. And then of course the undead are crawling all over the top of the structure and stuff, on top of the cave, and Hodor's sort of starting to panic, and the girl's trying to run around getting everyone together, and they're basically all on the run. It was a really intense chase sequence through the tunnels, which I thought was really well shot, back and forth. We have the Night's King actually kill the Three-Eyed Raven, which is, you kind of expected something like that at some point, because it was all about, teaching Brann how he should be in this power and this knowledge. So you kind of figured the mentor would have to be killed at some point, how these things go. But it was still, not very pleasant to see for sure. And then the biggest moment came from the door, Hodor. We've seen Brann trying to reach out to him, and the reality is, and in the past, and I basically see that, Hodor as a kid, is trying to, fall down and say, hold the door, over and over, because they get to this door, and, Hodor's the last one, he's trying to hold it shut, and we finally figure out, what his name means, or why he kept on saying Hodor over and over, and it was this really weird, time loop type of thing. Brann sort of warging Hodor, sort of caused this to sort of be an event that took place. And it's a little bit confusing to explain, it's confusing to think about, but it still really played out really tragically. Hodor does hold the door long enough, to give her and Brann enough time to escape, or at least get a good distance away. Even though it kind of seems like they could still catch up to him, but it is what it is. But it was really sad to see Hodor basically die there. We finally figure out the meaning of his name and his purpose to Brann's destiny here, really. So it was a good payoff for the character to know he was gonna, he saved Brann's life like that. It was sad to see him go out. And again, even though I sort of seen it coming, because Facebook news feed and stuff, I knew something was going to happen to him. But I'll admit I did tear up a little bit. It was really well done, really well written, I thought. And yeah, so that's the episode. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Really good one. Season 6 is just getting better and better as it goes along. It's turning into a really incredible season. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought about it. Of course, bring anything else up that you want to talk more about that I didn't mention, or didn't talk enough about. As always, feel free to leave a comment below. I'd love to discuss more of it with you guys. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and theprincewilda.com. Catch you guys next time. Might be reviewing Preacher soon. I'm not sure. Anyway, peace. Peace.